Good afternoon. As you can tell by the title, I am thinking about leadership. I was inspired today by a lunch I had with my broker, and I was thinking about leadership, and I was thinking about his leadership over our brokerage, and I was thinking about, you see my cocoa beans? I was thinking about my pastor, and sorry, I'm trying to situate this. And over the years, I've thought about leadership because, you know, there were people that I work for, and the way they spoke and handled things and interacted with us was not very motivating as an employee. And it made me think about different leadership styles. Now, I am going to point out some things from my broker in particular, because they're things that I think are very important to have in a leader, a boss, a team leader, whatever it is. And so one of my favorite examples is of King David in the Bible. You don't have to be a Christian to receive this concept, but if you're a Christian, you'll understand what I'm saying, is that King David, when he knew he was supposed to be king, but there was a time frame here, okay? And he was waiting on God to give him the full authority of his kingdom, okay? So half of the kingdom had already said, yeah, we're cool with you, and the other half didn't. So meanwhile, King Saul was chasing after him and trying to kill him, and he was hiding in the desert with 600 men, okay? And there were 600 men that would rather be in the desert running for their lives with King David than to remain in a kingdom with Saul. And at one point, David was daydreaming out loud, and he said, man, I just wish I could have a drink of water from Jacob's well, you know? And the well had now been encamped by Philistines, and it was too dangerous to go try to get water from this well. But 3 of his mighty men heard him say this, and they said, hey, let's go get him some water from that well. And so these 3 men, 3 of his mighty men, snuck away and didn't tell David, and they broke through the Philistine camp, ran, like you can just see it, to the well, and I'm sure one's looking and the other one's holding guard and the other one's going down and getting the water, or however they're doing it. And they got this water, and they come back, and they're like so stoked. They're like, David, we've got something for you. And he's like, what? And they handed him the water. They're like, we got you water from the well. And he was like, what? You did not. Now, of course, he didn't talk like that. Well, maybe he did, but in the Bible, it doesn't go like that. But he was like, he looked at that water and he went, oh my gosh, I can't drink this water. You risked your lives to get me a cup of water. And so he poured it out as an offering, but he was so touched by their love and their willingness to sacrifice their own lives to get him a cup of water. And over the years, as I've thought about the way I behave and the way other leaders around me behave, I think, I want to be a leader like that. And I want to follow a leader like that. A leader that humbles himself and would rather wander around in a desert hiding than to kill his enemy because he was going to trust God over the timing of his kingdom. He wasn't going to say, well, God made me king and I'm just going to take it over, and you suck and you're evil, so I'm going to kill you now. David's approach was, I'm not going to do anything unless God does it, and he was kind and generous, and he was passionate. He was intense too. But I just think of people that are leading others, whether you're the boss or your team leader, are you inspiring your employees to want to serve you? Are you inspiring them by being generous and sacrificial and thoughtful? And I was thinking about my boss, I got a lead for a commercial property, but it's not my specialty. So I said, hey, why don't you take it? And he's like, no, I'll we'll split it. I'm like, no, you can just have it. And he listed it for me under me. And he wasn't like, oh, okay, cool. He wanted to give it to me. And that's humbling to me to think that even though he could have had it, he was not willing to take it. He wanted to give it to me. And so, there's a lot of people that I hear that are disgruntled at their jobs, at their churches. And a lot of it has to do with the leadership. Okay, so if you're a pastor or a leader, you really need to think about your motivation and your position. Is it to you know, come on guys, let's hit our numbers and let's do this and that, and if you don't, we're gonna have, you know, we're gonna have to work extra hours and we'll have, you know, punishment or whatever. I don't know what the threat or the frustration is, but I've heard countless stories of these frustrating stories about leaders and how they treated their people. All that to be said, I remember when I was 19, I worked at CPK Pizza, and I wanted to be a hostess. I was 19, and they didn't have any slots open, and they said all we have is like busing and dishwashing. So I said, I'll dishwash. So I said, but can you, when you have an opening for the hostess, can you put me in that spot? And they said, oh yeah, okay. When we get an opening, we'll put you in hostess position. So I'm washing dishes, and I think they hired like 2 different hostesses. And to be honest with you, they were kind of ditzy and annoying. Bless their little hearts. And after several months, I was like, you know, I'm not going to work here anymore. And I went to the boss and I told her, I said, you know, your hostesses are standing there and they're like twiddling their thumbs, and there's like 15 people waiting, and they're not even making conversation. They're not asking them if they've been here before. And I made all these suggestions and things that I would do and that I saw. And the manager was like, whoa, you know, please don't quit. Please don't go. You know, we'll get you up there. And I said, you know what? I don't want to be here. Because when you try to motivate us about our uniforms or our sales or our service, it was like threats, not encouragement. Like, oh, it would be great, so cool. It would be like, if you don't do this, then we lose our bonus. It's like, who cares about you if you don't care about me? So anyway, hopefully that helps you think about how you want to treat people, whether it's your children, employees, other people you work with. You know, are you going to be someone that inspires them to want to work with you and work for you and to bless you because they really respect you and know that you care about them? Or are you just going to try to get what you can out of them and be like, well, you're not doing it for me, so I'm letting you go? No. You know, we've all heard about the servant leader, or most of us have, about Jesus. You know, the greatest will be last and the last will be greatest. Are you willing to serve in order so that you may be great, or are you willing to let them surpass you if it's possible? You know, I want to be a leader that the people that come up after me do better than I do, right? So anyway, have a great day. I want to be a good leader.